What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. No casino today. That means it is a solo show. He will be on some Friday episodes, just this one he could not. So the Friday show taking over the place of the Sunday show since we moved the schedule around. Not that you care, just know that we are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live, except for when we aren't. So stay tuned. This show started a little late today. That was my fault, uh not any other reason than that. But we are here today to unveil the first official power rankings. Casino and I did this before the start of the season where we went through our power rankings. I believe, is that the one where I think that was the episode where we did like almost 4 hours talking about this. Yeah, so we ranked every team between the preseason and the start of the regular season over the course of 3 episodes from July 1st to July 8th. And it took literally 3.5 hours, over 3.5 hours. So if you want to go see what that was, what our list was back then, go ahead. Today, I will not be going 3.5 hours. In fact, I will be trying to go less than 20 minutes. If you listen to the show regularly, you know that Monday's episode, my voice was absolutely shot. Wednesday, it was okay. Today, it's back to about 90%, but I don't want to just burn my voice out when it's still, what is it, when it's still healing. So today, we unveil the first official, besides the other one, power rankings for the 2025 season. This is actually after we have seen some football be played. I asked Casino to send me my list. He did not. So this is just strictly mine. But because of that, it represents the show and Casino backs it 100%. So I'm going to just try to go through these, just give quick reasoning for them. Again, not as fun when it's just me and Casino can't debate this. But then when me and Casino do debate this, it takes 4 hours. So we will just go through this. I will just say a little snippet until we get to the top 10, and then we'll dive into it a little more. So without further ado. Also, I do not have any visual aids for this one. So this is a good audio only one, unless you want to look at my beautiful face while I'm doing this. But or dumpy face, as some of you have said in the comments, which I'm perfectly fine with. But in the future, I will have visual gags and things with this list. Probably starting next week. I'll add that up. So without further ado, 32, I have a team again I am rooting for, but as we discussed on Wednesday's show, there is just they got the curse of me for whatever reason, because number 32 is the Titans. And again, I like Cam Ward. I think each game he has played so far this season, again, only two, he had a couple in the preseason, he does have wow moments. He does have it factor moments, but at 32 right now, I'm putting the Tennessee Titans. So Titans are at 32. Their defense is bad, worse than it was last year, which they had a sneaky good defense last year. They were just finding dumb ways in offense to lose games last year. But Cam Ward, I do think he has it. I just think what he does not have is anyone on his offense to not only catch the ball, but get open, make plays. He's running for his life out there. And those are where the wow moments come from, when he's doing the cross body, 30-yard pass downfield in double coverage and his guy catches it. But he has to make those kind of plays every game, or else they are what they are, which is 0-2. Number 31, a team I did not think would be this low on my list, but they are, just because of what we've seen in the two games they played, and that is the Chicago Bears. I mean, what more needs to be said about the Bears? The question marks about the Lions going into this season was, can their offense be good, as good without Ben Johnson as it was last year? Week one, we see them in a bad game against the Packers. And then all of a sudden, the red flags raised up everywhere, and everybody's like, no coordinate. Both their coordinators left. Their offense is in shambles. And then all that took was for next week for them to play the Bears. And then they absolutely dominate them. Didn't look like they skipped a beat. Jared Goff almost had what? he had over 80% completion percentage. One more completion, it would have been something like 90%. So that Bears offense, a lot of question marks. That Bears defense is god awful. Next up, 30. Now this is going into week 3, but technically we've seen one week 3 gameplay already, and that was Dolphins Bills last night. Before that game, Dolphins would have been 30th on my list, which is what they are right now. 30th, we have the Dolphins. And you know what? I'm going to start putting up a visual thing right here. 30 with the Dolphins. And it is only because not only are they in shambles, but they are also just their defense is bad. Their offense is, it just looks like it's skipping a beat. And or well, the saying is hasn't skipped a beat. Theirs feels like it's skipped all beats. Like, I don't know why all of a sudden they have all these really talented skill players. None of them can get open. None of them look like they want to be there. There's reports coming out now where apparently in the organization for the Dolphins, it has just been everybody showing up late to meetings, getting in arguments with coaches, and all these problems behind the scenes were swept under the rug when they were winning. And now that they are not winning, all of that stuff apparently now is an issue where before, again, it was all happening, but no issues because they were winning 11 games every season. So that's a giant red flag. As I take a sip of my tea. Again, voice still recovering. Number 29. Oh, I almost put the Broncos. That is not the Broncos. That I can't even read my own handwriting. That is the Browns at number 29. Again, I still think Joe Flacco has it. I know Casino jokes that Father Time has already stepped up to the plate and taken him, but I don't agree. I still think he has it. I still like this Browns team. They're just 0-2. I think that defense is formidable. I think that D line is really good. Again, in that Bengals game, they were getting consistent pressure. What, that one series they sacked Joe Burrow 4 times in a row? Like, they have the best defensive player in the league, or one of the best defensive players in the league, Myles Garrett, on that D line. And again, that offense just needs to figure itself out, but that defense still allowing 58 points over a 2-game span. So need to just get on track, but they won't because they're the Browns, 29th. Speaking of teams that should get on track but won't because of who they are, the New York Football Jets at 28. I just think, again, the first week against the Steelers seemed to be a moment where all of us went, oh, maybe this Justin Fields thing will work. Maybe their defense is legit. Like, all these maybe, if, and then the second week where we see the Steelers, it's like, uh-oh, are the Steelers actually not good? So does that mean the Jets are actually worse because they lost to this team and they were going toe to toe with them back and forth in a shootout? Again, the Jets defense should be elite. It's not. The Jets offense has playmakers on it, from Hall to Garrett Wilson to, again, Justin Fields. When given time to just be Justin Fields and run around, he's obviously not going to be a pocket passer, but he could be, and I mean this as a compliment, he could be Timu Lamar Jackson. That's a compliment, because I would kill for a quarterback on my team to be Timu Lamar Jackson. So there we go. Next up, 27th. Again, this pains me. Before the season started, I was with the Titans as my team, where I was just rooting for them. Now, I am sad to say I have to put the Panthers at 27th. And it's, again, Bryce Young. If they would have beat the Cardinals last week, with how good I'm told the Cardinals defense and coach and all these things are in our comments whenever we talk about the Cardinals, I would have elevated them. I don't know. They would have been 19th. But with that loss, they're now 27th. Their defense is, there's a lot of teams that at the start of the season have really bad defenses. Theirs might like sneakily be the worst. Again, the Bears defense is going to be thrown in there because of a lopsided blowout. But when you watch those Panthers games, it's like bad. and they don't really have any talent on that defense, which is concerning to say the least. But I think, again, you can throw Panthers, you can throw Dolphins, you can throw Titans at the moment, Bears, obviously, as just having top five worst defenses in the league. Bryce Young, again, did he figure it out? Did he not? He's very hot or cold. I have no idea. Saints. Again, I thought this is a huge compliment to the Saints. Before the season started, I was like, oh, no question about it. Saints are going to be worst team in the league. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks in, Spencer Rattler, he can play. And again, that week one game, they had a chance to win. Last week, they were within one score for most of that game. Like it was the Saints, again, are going to be a bad team all year. They'll probably be in the top 10 to top 5 in first round pick, but again, they just play hard. They're the team where you think it's going to be an easy win, and then all of a sudden it's a one-score game with 3 minutes in the fourth quarter, and you're like, "Is my team really going to lose to the Saints?" And in 1 week, they will. The Saints will beat somebody good, and it'll be like this huge upset, except to people watching these Saints games. Which, again, I watched all of that week one game. What I think it was against the Falcons, and yeah, they're good. Like they're not, and again, not good enough to win games, but good enough where you're like, wow. Again, I thought they were going to be the worst team in the league. They're feisty. They're feisty at 0-2. I do not want to play the Saints. They play with heart. Next up, number 25, the New York Football Giants this time. And again, is the when you talk about bad defenses, you have to throw the Dallas Cowboys in there because of the game against the Giants. And when somebody uses a game against the Giants as a reason in a win as a reason why your team is bad, that's how you know it's bad. Because the Giants, Russell Wilson looked like 2013 Russell Wilson, and he just was slinging it all over the field. 2013 feels way too late. I don't think I meant that far back, but you get what I'm saying. He felt like Super Bowl Russell Wilson, where he's just slinging it, slinging the ball, lighting them up, and then with 20 seconds left, he just does his favorite and maybe only pass in his arsenal at this point is either a dump off or just a moon ball. Moon ball, Malik Neighbors, double coverage, should have won the game, but Aubrey can hit a field goal from 90 yards away. So again, Giants, if they would have beat the Cowboys, would they be much higher? Yes, because I don't think the Cowboys are that good. They're going to be on this list shortly. So again, good divisional matchup, good divisional heart to get that close to beating the Cowboys. But again, they didn't, and now they're 0-2. I really like their defense. I really like their D line, but offensively, we're not going to see that every week from Russell Wilson. Speaking of offensive issues, number 24, what happened to the Houston Texans? What happened to CJ Stroud? When you watch these games with the Texans, it's like their defense is still good. They've only allowed 34 points on the season, almost beat the Bucks on Monday night, but it's also one of those things where you watch their defense and you're like, okay, this defense looks like they're right back on track to what they were last season. And then the offense, it's like is was CJ Stroud ever good? And like that's when you're watching it, you're like, this guy used to be good, and you're like, yeah, he was the rookie quarterback before what is it, Jaden Daniels came, where everybody was like, I hope my rookie quarterback has a season like he did. And again, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to this offense, but they're past the point of stagnation. They just need to find somebody to catch the balls, somebody to do something because it's sad. Like, where is CJ Stroud? He's me and Casinos, both our fantasy quarterbacks we got like in the last round, and we thought we were just going to surprise people. And it's funny because these two teams, same division, also same two quarterbacks, Casino and I both said 2 years in a row would be MVPs of the league and then didn't come close. One was Stroud. The next one, Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, I don't know. Again, when I watch the Jaguars play, it's like the star wide receiver and quarterback don't like each other. And then also the quarterback and coach appear to also not like each other. So it's like, why are there such bad vibes on a team where going into the season, people were like, the Jaguars going to surprise some people. They have, what is it? They have Travis Hunter. He's going to play both sides. It's going to be the Otani of football. And then going into week 3, Travis Hunter has just been a complete non-story. And the story coming out of this is like Brian Thomas doesn't like his quarterback, and the quarterback appears to not like his head coach. Like, that's going into week 3. Your star draft pick, no one talks about, and the only people and issues we talk about are between your quarterback, your best wide receiver, and your new head coach. Not good. Vibes wise, this is a negative. They should probably be lower, honestly. But they're 1-1, so who knows? Number 22. Again, if Casino was here, I know he would put his team. Casino's very overreactionary when it comes to his team. So his team would either be he would put him at 32nd because they lost one game, or he'd put him in the top 10 because they won one game. So this is where objectiveness for myself comes in. And I just don't think, again, when you watch this Patriots team, it's just their secondary is bad. I think Drake May is good. Their running game is good. Again, their wide receivers, I don't really like. So it's like their skill positions are C minus. Their secondary is D minus. And again, that's due to injuries and stuff like that. But then you have to bump them up because they have Mike Vrabel. I mean, of all the coaches we talked about, I think Vrabel is the clear number one head coach of all these ones, maybe of the next one as well. If you want to argue, would you rather have him or Pete Carroll? Not that the Raiders are next, but you get what I'm saying. In the bottom half of the league, who of these coaches would you rather have than Mike Vrabel? Answer: none of them. So that's why, again, they're so high on my list, and I think they can turn it around. But so far, they're 1-1. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I think what happens with the Cowboys is what happens every year with the Cowboys, which is a lot of money comes in with the Cowboys. So then that means we have to talk about them. We have to always view them as legitimate, like, oh, is this the Cowboys years? Their fans and the media think it's going to be the Cowboys years every single year, but it never is, hasn't been for 30 years. I don't think this year is any different. Now, I will say, when before the season started, Casino and I both said, oh, yeah, their offense is going to be elite and their defense is going to be abysmal. And that was with Micah Parsons. So now without Micah Parsons, their defense is even worse than the critics of this team thought it would be. They get no pass rush whatsoever. Their secondary is bad. Now Bland is also out. So their secondary that was bad just got worse. Again, the star player on their team right now is their kicker, who legitimately in his career will hit a 70-yarder. It's going to happen. And we just all go, oh, well, it's the Cowboys. They'll turn it around. Like, how? How do you fix maybe the worst defense in the league to be a viable contender? Will this team be a playoff team? With the way the seedings are right now, I don't think so, but I think their ceiling is 9 wins. Uh-oh. We're only at 20 and my voice is going out. Next up, let's go to 20. And that is the Las Vegas Raiders. And this is the one where I say, of the 20 to 32, this is where you can finally argue, would you rather have Vrabel or Pete Carroll coaching your team? Because that, again, is a toss-up. I think I would rather have Carroll just because he does have this Super Bowl win and another Super Bowl appearance. But again, everybody loves Vrabel. He's running down the sidelines. Everybody loves him. But when it comes to the Raiders, now I will admit, the Ashton Genty stuff is weird. Like, coming out again when Chip Kelly is having to do an interview or a podium talk, and the first question is, why are you not using your star running back more? And then his answer is he evokes load management. Not a good start, I would say, especially where my hot take was, oh, Ashton Genty's going to break the all-time rookie rushing record. Again, that's why it was a hot take and not an actual take. But it's weird. It's weird. Vibes, again, weird. Geno Smith. Now, he doesn't always do the 3 interceptions, but again, concerning. And then you also have just the weirdness of, oh, hey, Tom Brady, the star announcer for Fox, is also on the booth, is in the booth during these games when he's playing, when he's calling games of teams his team's about to play. Like, yeah, that's weird. I don't care if they say, well, it's not against the rules and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, it's still weird. You don't think that's weird that the announcer is also in the headset of the quarterback of a team he just called a game for? Again, it might not be a competitive advantage. I think it is, but it's definitely weird. You can't say it's not weird. Next up, let's go to the Steelers. Again, that week one was concerning where the defense let up that many points to the Jets, but it was glass half full, glass half empty. The glass half full was, oh, hey, Aaron Rodgers, it seems like it works. It works in Pittsburgh. He's throwing 4 touchdowns for the first time in, years. And then all of a sudden that week 2 game happens and it's like, uh-oh. Now he's throwing 1 pick, 2 interceptions. Now, one of them wasn't his fault, but Steelers are doing dumb, unsteeler like things like letting a kick bounce off you into the end zone. And that basically one play completely flipped a back and forth game into potentially a blowout if that game would have kept going. So I don't know. And again, a blowout, not against like the Chiefs or, the primetime uh, Chiefs from last year, 2 years ago, not the Chiefs of this year, but you weren't playing the Bills, you weren't playing the Ravens, you weren't playing the Eagles, you were playing the Seahawks, which has as many question marks going into the season as the Steelers did. So, not a good sign. But again, one good game, one bad game. You throw both those out. What are you when you just play a regular game of football? And we don't know. Speaking of the Chiefs, I think you have to drop them all the way down to 18. Now, again, I don't think you automatically have to put every 1-1 team ahead of them because the 2 games they have played have been against the Eagles, who are 2-0, the Chargers, who are 2-0. Both of those teams right now, I think if you put, you know, together a power ranking would be in the top 10. I have both those teams in the top 10. So it's not like they were playing, scrubs off the street and all they're, 0-2 like some of these other 0-2 teams. But I will say the Giants I had rated on this list at 25. If the Chiefs lose to the Giants, who at the moment are a top or bottom team in this league, then all of a sudden, red flags, alarm bells, all those things start going off. Now, Casino is calling it. He did call it on Wednesday that the Chiefs will lose to the Giants. I've seen that take. I've seen the other way where people, especially Chiefs fans, are guaranteeing a Chiefs win. And again, I picked the Chiefs to win this game, but I don't think, again, we don't see the Chiefs blow out anybody. When's the last time we've seen them blow out somebody? Last year, it was every game was a 1-score game. They were winning all these weird games by a blocked kick and this and that, and penalty here, a fumble there. It was, again, a weird Chiefs year last year that has spilled over to this year. And again, a weird end of the season, which was Super Bowl blowout to a team that every team they played against in the playoffs, the other team was picked to upset the Eagles. So it's not like the Eagles were a super team going into that game because everybody's picking the Chiefs, everybody's picking the Rams, everybody's picking the Commanders, everybody's picking the Packers. So I don't know. And then again, you're playing the revenge game last week against that same Eagles team, and look what happens. You also lose that game on an uncharacteristic drop pass from Travis Kelce. So what do I know? Next up, 17. Now the Bengals are a weird team to put here because Browning comes in and then actually puts up better stats than when Burrow was in there. But again, nobody in their right mind is taking Browning over Burrow in any metric except that one game where all of a sudden he you know lit it up for 3 quarters by also simultaneously throwing 3 interceptions. So I don't know. Again, they're 2-0. I don't trust this defense. I don't trust this offensive line. They're on a backup quarterback. They're playing just coincidentally the next team on this list, which is the 16 Vikings. So Vikings at number 16. Again, the JJ McCarthy has played one good quarter of football, and that was a great quarter of football that led them to a victory against, again, the Bears. So how much stock are we putting in the Bears that I ranked as the second worst team in the league right now? But does JJ McCarthy have it? I don't know. Again, he's technically only played 2 games in the NFL. This is technically his rookie season because obviously he got knocked out last year in preseason, but the eye test. Again, I think Cam Ward has it. I think there's enough wow stuff. He just has no team around him. Vikings were a 15, what? They won 14, 15 games last year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were, oh, actually, I can look it up right here. They were they were a 14 win team last year with Sam Darnold. It's not like they were a 14 win team last year with Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. And then all of a sudden, it's JJ McCarthy. It's like Sam Darnold, who, when he went to the Seahawks, it's not like he's been, lighting it up an MVP candidate. Last year, he could have potentially won the MVP if it went swung a couple different ways. But yeah, I just think, again, I think this game's really going to be interesting, really fun to see what this team looks like with Carson Wentz. Can Carson Wentz get the same Kevin O'Connell quarterback rehab that Darnold did? And if he does, like, let's say Wentz goes out there and just slings the ball like it was the year he led the Eagles to the Super Bowl, right? Like, is our Vikings fans going to be like, oh yeah, I'm clamoring to put JJ McCarthy back in? I don't think so. I don't. So this game on Sunday, I think, has a lot on in stake, or a lot that can happen from this game. You get what I'm saying? I'm running out of steam here. Number 15, the Commanders. Now, this is Jaden Daniels is out with an injury. That was always the concern when they drafted him, is he just looks like a skinny guy that takes just awful hits. I remember Casino and I talking last year about just some of the hits he took in like those Giants games or Eagles games where it was like, man, he keeps taking these hits. It's going to be a short career. And that's not indicative of this injury. I'm just saying that it is a concern, and you don't want an RG3 situation where this rookie wonder comes in and then just starts getting beat up left and right. It starts getting injuries. I mean, look at Burrow. And then all of a sudden, one of the best quarterbacks in the league when he plays, but only problem is he never plays. Also, I just have question marks about this Commanders defense. I think they are better than that defense was last year, but that defense last year wasn't that good. And they haven't allowed that many points this year. They're an older team. So again, I just wonder about the legs of this team going further into the season. If again, they're already banged up heading into week 3 of the season. And it's going to be interesting. Mariota is going to be the backup for this team for this game coming up, but it's going to be interesting to see what the Commanders are without the Jaden Daniels magic that had to have won them at least what 6 games by itself last year. So I don't know. Number 14, a team that should be in the top 10, but they just aren't because Bo Nix, again, uh, just not playing the best game of his career, but or best stretch of games in his career. I'm more concerned about this defense when it comes to the Broncos because we saw, again, the Colts are having just a generational run right now. They're in the top 10, spoiler alert ahead. But again, that game, they should have won that game, but you're also almost giving up 30 points to a Daniel Jones led Colts. Are the Colts legit? Right now, they look it, but again, the Saints, everybody thought was legit 2 weeks into the season last year, too. And that they almost lost that or could have lost that game against the Titans in week 1 if anybody on the Titans could catch. So right there, you're going back to back where you're almost losing games in the final minutes against Cam Ward and against Daniel Jones. That's concerning for what should be and what was before the season a top 5 team in O-line ranking, in offensive ranking, in defensive ranking, in coaches in the league, if you also want to put Sean Payton as a top 5 coach. So for top 5s across the board to be 1-1 when your competition was Cam Ward and Daniel Jones, I can't drop you lower than 14, but I definitely can't put you higher. And number 13, I'm putting the Seahawks. I think from what we've seen from the Seahawks so far, I would take them over the Broncos, just in terms of, I guess, outlook and what they're projected to do. Again, the Seahawks defense, the second half of last season, slowly starting to get pretty good when, again, they were bad the Geno Smith years. They got the new coach in, took about a couple, what, he's been there for, I think, two. This is his third season. So, first year was rough. Second year, first half was rough. Start getting a little better defense. That defense is looking good. Sam Darnold, when he has time to throw against just an abysmal O line, again, is good. Like, people forget when he was with the Jets, he was just getting hammered and mollywopped every single possession because they couldn't protect him. So when he gets protection, it looks like what he did with the Vikings is not an outlier, which is he can pick you apart. He just needs time. Again, like most quarterbacks, we've seen what Mahomes is when he doesn't have time. He gets blown out in two Super Bowls. So, not the same, but you get the comp. Next up, number 12. I really like what I've seen from the Falcons. They were a last minute addition to where we were doing our preseason rankings, and it was time to pick all our playoff teams. And it was like, who's the last playoff team that's going to make it in the NFC? And then the Falcons kind of rose to that occasion, just as this team where it was like, man, I like all their offensive weapons. All their offensive weapons are B plus or higher, right? Their defense, sneaky athletic, sneaky kind of like no name defense kind of vibe, where it's just like you might not know their names, but when you watch the games, you're like, man, they are just hard hitting. They're always where they should be. That Vikings game was an indication of that, where they held that Vikings team to 6 points. Now, again, I know JJ McCarthy was having a rough game, but that's also a Vikings team that has a good O line, has a good running back, has maybe, if you want to argue, the best, what is it? The best wide receiver in the league in Justin Jefferson. So, yeah, Falcons at number 12 and slowly climbing up. And then you have the Cardinals. And I think you have to put the Cardinals on there because, yes, they're 2-0, but I don't think you can put them in the top 10 because, again, those 2-0 wins came against the Saints and the Panthers. And Saints and the Panthers were what? Panthers are 27, Saints are 26. So, again, you can't fault these teams for who they play, but that doesn't mean you have to rank them as the best team in the league because they beat those two of, you get what I'm saying? Again, I'm spiraling right now, but my voice is about to go out. But again, they beat that Cardinals or they beat that Panthers team. It looked like it was going to be a blowout, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, that's a 5 point game with 3 minutes left, and they could have easily lost that game to the Panthers. Same with Saints, where it's 20-13 week one. That's what it was. It wasn't against the Falcons, it was against the Cardinals. I knew it was a red bird. But Spencer Rattler hit three guys in the end zone in the hands with footballs. They just couldn't hold on to him. So Bryce Young completes the comeback. Spencer Rattler completes one of those three passes. All of a sudden, this Cards team is 0-2. And, everybody's going, what's going on with the Cardinals? They're spiraling. They're supposed to be good. What's going on with their defense? They got Josh Sweat and a bunch of other additions. So they're a soft 2-0 right now, but their schedule, it's not like their schedule gets much harder. They play some of the worst teams in the league currently. So I think the Cardinals will be one of those teams just based on schedule alone that they're going to be ranked much higher than what they actually are. But this is from a certified Cardinals hater. So don't take it seriously from me. Next up, number 10, I have the 49ers. Now, I put, and you know what? I'll spoil it, 9 too. So we can talk about the Rams as well. I have 11, the Cardinals, 10, the Niners, and then 9, the Rams. So all the NFC teams, and again, or all the NFC West teams, I think you have to put them all right there because they are all 2-0, but obviously they haven't played each other. So when they start playing each other, the cream will rise to the top, or maybe it won't, and they'll all just go 1-1 against each other. But I think when you look at the 49ers, when you look at the Rams, when you look at the Cardinals, they're damn near Cardinals and Rams both have scored 47 points. Card or 49ers have scored 43, and they've all allowed less than 35 points, with Cardinals allowing 35, 49ers 34, Rams 28. So Rams, again, I think that defense is legit. I think that what is it? I think that when you look at these three teams, you would rather have Matthew Stafford, you'd rather have Sean McVay, you'd rather have Verse than really anybody on those other teams in those positions. So I don't trust Kyler Murray for the long haul. If Brock Purdy's just going to be dealing with injuries the entire season, as he already is going into week 3, who knows if he starts this game on Sunday or not? I think he will, but who knows? I think that's why you have to put the Rams above those other two, just because we've seen them be this consistent winning team that as long as McVay and Stafford are there, they're always, a viable Super Bowl option in the NFC. Next up, Stafford's former team, the Lions. Now, I should have the Lions farther up on this list, but again, blowing out the Bears by that much when clearly by the coach and player reactions, it was a revenge game against whatever Ben Johnson did. Apparently, there's an issue with how he left because, again, that felt mean and spiteful and weird, but not that I don't like it. I did like watching the Bears get blown out like that. But Jared Goff, again, bad, not, no, that was the thing. He had a good week 1, a high completion percentage. They just couldn't score points because at this moment in time, the Packers are potentially the best team in the league. Stay tuned for number 1. And, but they got their offense and defense right back on track against the Bears, but they're not playing the Bears every week. Case in point, they're playing Monday night against the Ravens. So that is where we can finally, I think, get an accurate representation of what the Lions are. Are they just going to beat up on bad teams and lose to good teams, or are they going to be closer to what they were last year? Number 7, I can't believe I'm putting the Colts up here, but you have to. The Colts are number 7 right now. Uh, and what's happening with the Colts again is Shane Steichen finally found a credible Jalen Hurts stand in to run his offense that led the Eagles to probably the best offense we've seen under the Nick Sirianni era, which is when they went to the Super Bowl the first time against the Chiefs with that lights out offense. Again, no Saquon Barkley that year. If Hurts doesn't get hurt those last 2-3 games of the season, he's probably the MVP that year. So now we've seen them, and by them, I mean the Steichen offensive identity kind of just be mirrored onto Daniel Jones, who, for lack of a better term, is just a poor man's Jalen Hurts. But again, not a not a diss. That is a compliment because of how competent he is running that offense. And again, they just beat the Broncos, who by all intents and purposes, were picked to be one of the Super Bowl favorites going into this year. So to beat that team, I know every Broncos fan before the season was like, "Oh, we're playing the Colts week 2, automatic W." And Colts fans were like, "Oh man, we're gonna have to play the Broncos week 2," and then they win. Colts defense also sneaky good. I really like this team, and as of right now, they're a top 10 team in this league. Number 6, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, 2 Baker Mayfield comeback wins in 2 weeks. I really like the feel of this team, the grit of this team, this no nonsense attitude they play with, anchored by Baker Mayfield, who just always looks mad and angry and looks like he plays that way, which, as a fan of watching him, especially in the creamsicle uniforms, which I never understood why people said they were bad or ugly. You want this kind of mentality from your quarterback and team, which is just F you, like we're going to do whatever it takes to win. That's why I've always liked the Eagle and Jalen Hurts' approach. But yeah, Tampa Bay Bucks, number 6. Defense is good. Offense, a little banged up, but again, I think they'll get healthier and more comfortable together over the season. There we go. Number 5, by record wise, by pretty much every metric, they should be behind the Bucks, Colts, uh, and probably Rams. But again, it's Lamar Jackson. They lose a shootout week one against the Bills by 1 point when that game for most of it was a Ravens blowout. And then obviously the Ravens are the one of the only teams in the league, if not the only team in the league, that always loses those kind of games. When they put everything together, I think they potentially can win the Super Bowl this year and could have won it last year, could have won it 3 years ago. But again, they just never are able to meld everything together. Lamar Jackson, you can have the debate. It's really, especially with Mahomes, stat wise, and just how he's been playing the past 2 years. I think now, really, the only viable debate is the best quarterback in the league at this current moment, not based on the past, at this current moment. Is it Lamar Jackson? Is it Josh Allen? Well, we saw these two play, and it was Josh Allen. So, yeah. Next up, number four, we are talking about my team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I put them at number four because I have not liked what I've seen offensively from them this season. Uh, Hold on, I'm texting my wife. I do not like what I've seen from the Eagles this season offensively. I do think where there's smoke, there's fire. And the smoke is this offense has not been good. It's been stagnant. It's been predictable. It's been lazy. Again, halfback right up the middle, halfback pitch left to right, slant or go ball. Those are the only routes or plays we've seen from this team, and that as an Eagles fan is concerning. I do think the defense, I saw a stat where it's like they've given up what is it? The seventh most passing rating, whatever dumb super analytical thing it is. And it's just like, yeah, it's 2 weeks and they played Mahomes in a revenge game. And but it's not like Mahomes had a great game. And then they played Dak Prescott the first game, where with that Cowboys elite offense, it's not like Dak Prescott also had a good game. So this whole QBR thing, they didn't get lit up by one of the best offenses in the league currently, and then one of the best quarterbacks in the league currently. So, again, I think the defense is getting better every week. I really like Makuba and what he brings to the safety position, which is just this ball hawk, kind of hard hitting, big risk, big reward play style back there that I think the Eagles need because they missed that with CJ Gardner Johnson. So I like Makuba. He obviously made the game winning interception last week. But again, we had the same question marks about Kellen Moore last year. By week five, they kind of turned it around. I'm giving the Eagles till week five before I'm legitimately concerned about their offense. But as of right now, they're 2-0. That defense is good. And obviously, they have the Super Bowl MVP leading them. So there you go. Three, I never thought I would put them this high, but after these 2 weeks they've had, blowing out the Raiders on Monday night, beating the Chiefs in Brazil in week one, especially that week one game, best Justin Herbert game I've ever seen him play. Best, maybe John Harbaugh team win they had on Monday, where they just, again, smothered that team, made Geno Smith throw 3 interceptions, where Geno Smith is not a high turnover quarterback. So that is also a giant green flag where you're just like, this defense plays like a Harbaugh defense. Herbert is playing consistently great every game. But again, I knew the Chargers would be good the regular season. Chargers, much like Ravens, much like Packers, much like Bills, much like Lions, it doesn't really matter at this point what you do during the regular season for these teams. You can throw the Eagles and Chiefs in there. It's all about what you do in the playoffs. And I think Chargers have reached that status where I don't really care how good they are during the regular season. Show me during the playoffs. Number two, the Green Bay Packers. And again, my one concern with the Packers would be, is Jordan Love, will he be consistently good to great during the playoffs against the best teams in the league to win, if they get the one seed, a divisional game, a championship game, and then a Super Bowl? Will he be good enough to do that? We don't know. As of right now, he's definitely good enough to beat the Lions in a game they easily won. And then I already forgot last week. Oh, yeah, last week they played the Commanders on Thursday night and easily and handily won that game. This defense is legit. Micah Parsons, not only has he looked great, he's made everybody else on that defense look great and get bigger and better shots at that quarterback, whoever they're playing. So, yeah, Packers again. I don't think right now you can, even as a fan, you can put the Eagles above the Packers in just terms of the eye test, but they play each other this season. So we will see. Again, I'm still an Eagles fan rooting for the Eagles, but all biases aside, they play November 10th. All biases aside, Packers and Bucks are the two teams I'm scared of in the NFC as an Eagles fan. And number one, again, this is not even including the week 3 game. These are just including the first 2 weeks because this is the power ranking going into week 3. But unless the Packers, Chargers, Eagles, or Ravens just have the game of their lives and blow out whoever they're playing, Bills look like going into next week, they're also going to be number one because this looks like the Bills' best shot at a Super Bowl for the simple reason that even when Josh Allen did not have a good game in week 2, uh, Cook did. And Cookie, I was thinking of a dumb joke, but I was like, that joke's been said so many times. And again, to blow out the Bills by or to for the Bills to blow out the Jets by 20 points when Josh Allen throws for 148 yards, no touchdowns. That's what you want to see if you're a Bills fan. You know Josh Allen can win the shootout. You saw it in week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens. You've seen it many times over his career where you know he can put the team on his back and win the game. But how you win Super Bowls, how you win multiple Super Bowls, how you're always in the Super Bowl mix is having games where even when your quarterback doesn't play well, the team can still get away with a victory. And not only that, but get away with a blowout 20 plus point game victory, which is exactly what they did. James Cook, 21 carries, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. And then last night, we won't talk about because that'll be for next week's power rankings. But again, you trust Josh Allen to win you those games. And now it's nice to know when he can't, that defense and running game can lead the Bills to a victory. I literally said I was going to try to go 20 minutes to save my voice, and my voice is crapped out maybe 3 times during this thing where I went into a coughing fit. Hopefully by Monday I will finally be over this thing that is affecting my voice, but as of right now, that is the official first edition of the power rankings for the season. Now, again, this is the first edition during the preseason was not the first edition. That was the preseason poll going into the season. Now that we've seen playoffs, now that we've seen football be played, this is the first edition. We'll have the second edition next Friday, maybe with Casino, maybe not. But I will be here after we have experienced all the week 3 games to see who moves up, who moves down. I'll have more graphics, fun stuff like that. Me and Casino, however, will be here on Monday. Go follow us on Rumble, follow us on YouTube. Also, the audio version of this podcast really picking up the past couple weeks. So thanks for everybody listening to just my beautiful dulcet tones as you listen to me just cough vigorously into the microphone. So, and I even said vigorously, I spit. That's why you don't want to watch the video. Just see my saliva falling everywhere. Yes, I notice it too. You don't need to point it out. I notice it before you do. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. Me and Casino will be back on Monday to talk about all the week 3 games. We'll see you then.